Which brings me to my last Cowboys book, Hell Bent, perfectly titled. The season-long story of how Aikman was trying to get Barry Switzer fired because Barry didn't crack the whip the way Jimmy cracked it. And Switzer and his allies fighting back with all their proud might. Look, here's what I never understood about Troy. And there's a big part of Troy I really like to this day. But this is what hit me hard as I watched the documentary. Why couldn't Troy, as the supposed team leader, see what was going on inside that locker room and get on board with Barry Switzer? Because everyone in that locker room had come to love Barry Switzer, would run through the locker room walls for Barry Switzer. Trust me, you can see it in the documentary. All of them except for the quarterback, who kept losing his mind because Barry wasn't Jimmy. The same Jimmy who once called Troy a loser and who drafted Steve Walsh and who stuck with Steve Berline and who only grudgingly came around to Troy because Norv Turner convinced him to. What? Friends have asked me if Troy had some deep-seated, lingering animosity toward Barry because of what happened when Troy played for Barry at Oklahoma. I really don't think so. Look, Barry tried to fit square peg Troy into his round hole triple option wishbone attack. I mean, Troy was a drop back passer. He just didn't fit in the wishbone. And Troy's leg got broken, ironically, against Jimmy's Miami Hurricanes in Norman fairly early in the year. And Barry eventually got on the phone and found Troy a new drop back passer home with Terry Donahue at UCLA. Barry did that, went way out of his way for Troy. Barry liked Troy. I don't know yet. During that 1995 season, Switzer became convinced that Troy was trying to turn two key media opinion makers in Dallas, Dale Hansen and Randy Galloway, against Barry. That was very true. So imagine how Barry Switzer felt when Troy had really his two worst games of the year, both times against the rival Redskins, who were on their way to finishing 4-12. That's right. The Dallas Cowboys, on their way to a Super Bowl championship, lost twice that year to the eventual 4-12 Redskins, coached by Norv Turner. The coach Troy obviously wanted to replace Barry Switzer. Whew. Imagine what Switzer was thinking. It was a long, hard year for Barry Switzer. It took a lot out of him, and it actually took a lot out of me because was I ever caught in the crossfire between Aikman and Switzer, between the Aikman camp and the Switzer camp and all their supporters in and around the organization. Their relationship ended over a sideline incident during that second Redskins loss that was at Texas Stadium on December the 3rd, fairly late in the year. Look, I knew Troy could be a hothead. I'd experienced that several times myself, but I had forgotten how Troy could just profusely lose it on the sideline. You can see it in the doc. Man, that sideline footage, I guess from NFL films, some of which I had not seen before. So during that second Redskins loss, Kevin Williams, a little slot receiver and kick returner, didn't run a route the way Troy wanted, a route Kevin Williams hadn't run correctly during what Troy thought was yet another undisciplined Barry Switzer practice. And on the sideline that day, Troy just unloaded on Kevin Williams. And the assistant head coach at the time, John Blake, who was about to become the new head coach at the University of Oklahoma, told Barry Switzer that Troy had just crossed the line. Details are all in my book. And as the doc points out, Switzer had a secretary call Aikman that night, set up a meeting at 9 a.m. in Switzer's office. You can read it in Hellbent. Switzer told Aikman that either Troy was going to apologize to the team when the players came in at noon, or Switzer would apologize for Troy. And as Aikman told me for the book, he just got up and walked out of the office. And as I reported in Hellbent, the quarterback and the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys did not speak a word from December the 4th through the Super Bowl that the Cowboys won in spite of themselves. It was unprecedented, it was unheard of, and it was the truth. Hellbent became a searing psychological study of the internal war between the superstar quarterback who went to high school in Henrietta, Oklahoma, and the legendary Oklahoma coach who so badly wanted that quarterback who played for him in college to love him in Dallas the way every other Cowboy loved Barry Switzer. Whew! Truth. And now it's all there in this documentary. As I said in the doc, Aikman versus Switzer that season became unbearable for that team. Michael and Emmett backed me up on that in the doc. But listen, when Hellbent first came out that July, I got blasted by fans and by media. What? Aikman versus Switzer? They just won the Super Bowl. What are you talking about? Even if some media members knew some of this was going on behind the scenes, none of it had ever been reported, so they all scoffed at and discredited my book, maybe just to save face, their own face. Nobody involved with the Dallas Cowboys has taken anywhere near the criticism that Jerry Jones has. But let me say, I might at least be in Jerry's ballpark for taking heat. God has put me in some great places in my career, but in situations that have fire-tested my faith in God and ultimately my faith in myself. Each time, God has given me the strength to hang in, endure, and each time I have survived and I have prevailed. Thank you, God, for my vision and my courage. It's all from you. And now, thank you for this documentary, for the vindication and the validation. Now, if only Jerry at age 82 could be vindicated and validated by winning one last Super Bowl.